everyone, this is Sarah from Your Favourite Teacher. As the National Theatre are going to be streaming Frankenstein for free on YouTube and will be available for the next week, we thought it would be a really good idea to look into mind maps. Our worksheets look into themes and characters and plots, but when you have all that information, you're studying other novels and you want to try and get it down into a mind map and try and absorb that information, it can be really hard. When I was studying, I found that looking at icons and colours really helped me remember things in exams. So I'm going to share this technique with you. I'm only going to be covering a few themes. There's a lot more within the book. There's a lot more going on. So this is only a snapshot, but I thought it might be helpful. So, ta-da! So we're going to talk through this and then I might add a few more icons. So I started off with Nietzsche and I drew this little glacier because if you have read the book you'll know that the sort of final standoff between Frankenstein and the creature is the glacier. So I drew this with little snow and I made it blue because I knew I'd remember that. And so like I came off this and was like talking about the Sublime and how important that is within this book in the sense of what it represents. So we could look at this scene and understand that although it's this really cold and mystical place and it's beautiful and exciting, it's actually really dangerous and really scary, much like what this book is about. You know, science can be incredible but also incredibly dangerous. And then you can go into pathetic fallacy and how important that is. It's, you know, reflective of what's going on. So yeah, again, this incredible sight and incredible scene, and yeah, you know, it's really scary. So then for humanity, I draw this little man because it's nice and easy. You don't have to worry about doing something super detailed, but something that you remember. So I drew this little man for humanity, and again, a really important theme when looking at the characters. So when you're thinking about Victor, you know, he's this really educated and wealthy person, but you know, his decisions not so good. So this is where you could add like a quote that you know you'll remember. And then if you're looking at the creature as a character and his humanity, you know, a quote, he says, "I'm malicious because I'm miserable." And you know, this idea of nature versus nurture, you know, are we born evil or good, or is it because of the environment we're in? So, you know, add quotes around your pictures. That's really going to help you remember things. And perhaps if you're like me, you know, you'll remember these little icons and go, ah, right, I remember that quote, or I remember this piece of information. So work our way down. Oh, so I did little coins for the wealthy. So I remember that. History. It's a really important one to look into because you'll be asked to look into context. And, you know, there's a lot going on at this time when this book was released. We've got the Enlightenment period. So, you know, we've just come out of a super religious time and this excitement for science and all this discovery. And this book is all about discovery. You know, not only is the creature discovering himself, but you also have the doctor discovering how to make life, you know, or what he thinks it will be. You know, it doesn't always turn out as well as he thought it was going to. So, and, you know, we're in the Industrial Revolution, so I've done this little factory. And electricity being a really important thing, so I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on, but I've drawn a little lightning bolt because I knew I'd remember that. And again, you know, add a quote here, maybe do some reading around the book and pop a quote here. That would be really helpful for your exam. Another really important thing is the idea that it's a cautionary tale. You know, within this time, factories, yay, you know, really good for getting the city up and going, but there's a lot of fatalities. You know, you're going to learn about this a lot more, but it was a really scary time. You know, people were getting severely injured, were dying in these factories, and, you know, it's the bounds of science. You know, where will this go? So then if we look into religion, again, a huge theme for this book. So if you are new to this book, the book title is actually Frankenstein or A Modern Prometheus. And the reason why it's been called that is because Prometheus was, he stole the fire from the gods, and, you know, he was stepping over his bounds, you know, and this is what exactly the Doctor's doing, this is what Victor's doing, and so, you know, that's really interesting, this idea that he's playing God. And especially at this time, you know, it was very much logic versus religion. So that's a really interesting thing to delve into. So then, you know, maybe add a quote here, and then I've drawn a little cross to help me remember sort of this theme. And then, like, I've got a quote here, God like science, you know, and that's an oxymoron. You know, you've got two very contrasting ideas put together. So yeah, just put a few ideas. Don't try and overload it. Don't try and try and remember everything, but it's really important to, maybe have a language term and a quote, and yeah, this icon will hopefully pop in your mind when you're trying to remember it all. So if we go over to science, so I said I'd come back to talking about electricity, so I've got another little lightning bolt because electricity at this time was really exciting, it was completely new, no one knew what it was going to do, and they would have performances of trying to revive bodies with a jolt of electricity, and the bodies would move and like these frog legs would fly up, and people genuinely thought that it was going to revive people by doing that, and so that's really influenced this novel. So I've just got a small quote here from Victor about his curiosity and delight, and that's really reflective of what was going on with the Enlightenment period. So yeah, just adding little quotes, adding little icons. So like even for here, like a cautionary tale, I might add a little book, just a little icon to make me think, oh yes, that was a quite cool fact. I might try and remember that, a little writing there. For Enlightenment, you could do like a little light bulb. Just make it doodly, don't worry about making it super fancy. You just want to think, oh, I'll remember that. So yeah, you can just add little icons everywhere, like I have with this little bolt. So I'm going to fill these in with a colour, so then it stands out when I'm, if you're revising this, that's what you want. And yeah, you can really build on top of this. Perhaps you could do another mind map for characters, but just play around and see if this works for you. It might not be your cup of tea, but it might really help when you're trying to remember things. So if you use this technique, please let us know. We'd love to see what you think, and please watch the play. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So hope you have a nice evening. Bye.